Hi guys, short video about the latest CPU in a low range area. This is the N95 Alder Lake, just came out in January. Really nice thing. This is a really nice implementation from Camry, maybe using a little bit low power fan. The good thing, of course, it has very low noise. The bad thing is it heats up, but I've never experienced any lags or so, no throttling. Also during gaming it gets hot, but as usually no problem. The good thing, it doesn't get very loud. So I would say if you can put it in a good ventilated area, then it's absolutely no problem. So I'm going to show you what you can do regarding gaming with such a CPU, because it's rather new and maybe you want to know if it's worth or not. So Asphalt 9, of course, not a big surprise that we can play it. We can play it almost with any CPU. Celeron CPU was already not a big problem. There were some Celeron CPUs. Yeah, I'm a little bit lost here when I'm talking here and playing. You can see how nicely this is, absolutely no lags. Yeah, with some of the 3000 Celeron series, it was a little bit of a problem, but most of them, especially 4000 series and the J series, there was absolutely no problem, and so no surprise that also with the N95 is absolutely no problem. I haven't seen any lags at all. So let's quit here. What you can also show is the Rocket League. I've already been trying this before with 1080p lowest resolution, and by accident I started a ranked game, and at the beginning it was absolutely crazy, but at the very end I was even MVP for some strange reason. I've made gold, but of course I was on a very low FPS, maybe 10 frames or so. But here I've reduced it to 720p, and so you can see, I mean, maybe when you're playing online it will be a little bit slower than that, but not much. Definitely playable 720p. Of course also everything on super low, but absolutely no problem. Makes a lot of fun, even 720p. By the way, this Camry has 16 gigabytes of RAM. This is of course something which I highly recommend as a minimum, and it has also 512 gigabytes of M2 SSD, which I would say is about the minimum spec. I mean, it's already a very good spec, of course, but I wouldn't go lower. Definitely not less RAM, and also not less SSD, because otherwise you won't have a lot of space to install games. But of course you can also add an hard disk drive here inside. It's very easy to add. Yeah, here in PUBG you can see I have everything on low. I think it's 720, but I'm not 100% sure. So let's see how this looks. Yeah, I'm still in training, and of course it has to load for a little bit longer. By the way, the really nice thing is that it consumes only 15 watts, the whole thing. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, here we are at the training site. I mean, as you can see, it's not too bad. Of course, the resolution is not the greatest, but you can look around pretty fast. No extreme lags, but I don't know, during gameplay when you're on the fire or so, yeah, it could be a little bit challenging. So I'm not sure if I would want to play like that. Yeah, nice school bus challenge here on Wreckfest. I'm on 25 frames. It's 720p. You can see the frames sometimes dropping down to 15, but I mean, yeah, when it's crowded, of course. I'm still on 27 here. It's surprising, 27 frames. Now, yeah, it went down to 15, but still I can play. It's not a big deal. I mean, of course, it will be very hard to go for first place or so with these frames, but usually you can see it's around 25 frames or so, and still looks pretty nice. Here the detail setting on Wreckfest 720 and everything on low. Then the user benchmark result, you can see that here. If you're interested, you can check it out, 591,12919, and of course gaming result is 6% tree trunk, but as a desktop 52% yacht, something which really works absolutely no problem as a desktop replacement. Really nice, small, quiet, not much power consuming desktop replacement. Highly recommend, of course, for streaming. Works also, of course, no problem. I've tested 4K streaming. You could probably do that 5 times parallel. Also, I've checked the browser. When you have open tabs, like 10 open tabs, absolutely no problem. You can just click, and also instantly scroll down without any lags. I mean, it's a really nice thing, I would say. And the price at the moment, this one here is at around $300. If your budget $300, yeah, I would say why not? If you can afford maybe $100 more, then I would go with the Ryzen 5600 series. If you're interested, I put down the link of one which I've also tested and currently using, and of course has a little bit more CPU and GPU power. I think the 5600 series, something which is totally a little bit flying under the radar and really capable for gaming. So everything which you can play here on 720p, you can play on 1080p with the Ryzen 5600 series, but again, it's a little bit more expensive, of course. So I would say both models definitely have their legitimations. Definitely not a bad thing. The N95 Alder Lake, also this Camry implementation, a beautiful one. Lots of USB ports, HDMI, easily expandable, something which really works, I would say. Definitely as desktop, but also for some decent light gaming. So that's it. If you're interested, I'll put all the links down into the description. And if you have any questions or comments, then write to the comment section below. And I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.